Women will never understand post-nut syndrome. I do not think
describe
they
post-nut
understand it.
syndrome, because this is something exclusive to us.
Yes.
And,
well,
like, I don't know I like you until I come.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
Yeah.
You do not know,
Yeah.
and that's why it's so fucked up. Like when women think we're fuckboys or we're pieces of shit as dudes. It's like you don't get it. I think I like you.
Right.
Everything I'm saying to you, I believe.
Right.
And my dick is just like, yeah, we're gonna find out. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna see. And there are times where you nut, and it's like, damn.
Yeah, you realize you made a mistake, especially if the woman is really into you and you're really not into her, and you're like, oh, I made an error. And then you do feel like an asshole.
Yeah.
But if you say that to them, they're like, yeah, I'm a fucking asshole. I'm like, I'm just being honest with you.
Biology.
I got tricked by genetics.
Right.
It's like sitting in the back seat of a really long bus.
Okay.
And there's some other guy up there driving the bus. Most of the time, you're driving the bus. Not when your dick is hard. When your dick is hard, there's some other guy driving the bus.
Yeah.
So we're going to be breaking it down, right? What he was talking about was someone takes control and almost just like you are an autopilot and he takes control of the plane, right? I'm going to be breaking out the science behind it. So cool. The primitive circuits in the brain govern emotion, drives, impulses, and subconscious decision making. They do their job so efficiently that evolution hasn't seen the need to change them. Since long before humans were humans, the desire, that motivation to pursue sex arise largely from the neurochemical called dopamine. Dopamine amps the centerpiece of the primitive part of the brain known as the reward circuitry. It's where you experience craving and pleasure and where you get addicted. So cool. You see this part here? Dopamine tells the man, whew, this girl is beautiful. I want to sleep with her. I want to sleep with her. So now all of a sudden, it's like you are no more in control because now all these hormones are taking over and they're saying, go sleep with her, go reproduce, which I'm going to break down and the book goes more in detail. Now, it says the ancient reward circuitry compels. See, compels is another word for like, it's like you're almost in a trance where someone feels like, oof, and it's like they're being bewitched. This is the dopamine that compels a man so that you do the things that further your survival and pass your genes. So when people see all of these attractive women, your body's signaling, oof, this is a potential mating partner. Let's reproduce. And this is when you get arousal, you get a boner. And a lot of people don't understand sex and emotional control because of when these signals go to their brain, they just dive in. They don't have no control. And now they just sleep with anyone. And then once they ejaculate, the dopamine is gone. And now they've slept with someone that they don't even want to sleep with. But we're going to continue. And it says at the top of what's it called, our human reward list are food, sex, love, friendship, and novelty. It says these are called natural reward, are castrated with what's it called, addictive chemicals, which can hijack this same circuitry. So when the dopamine goes into your brain and you see something that you're really, really keen on getting, all of a sudden it's like your brain gets taken over by another entity and it's not you anymore. And this is why it's imperative for us to build emotional and sexual control when we control our emotions. It says the evolutionary purpose of dopamine is to motivate you to do what serves your gene. So when a lot of people see all of these attractive people, they say, oh, I need to, what's it called, sleep with her. Or people then get compelled to watch pornography. I need to masturbate, I need to watch pornography. But it's imperative for you to reverse it, which I'm going to show you. He says the bigger squirt, the more you want to or even crave to do something. No dopamine and you just ignore it. High-calorie chocolate, cake, and ice cream, a big blast of celery, not so much. Dopamine surges are the barometer by which you determine the potential value of any experience. They tell you what to approach or what to avoid, where to put your attention or, in other words, energy. Further, dopamine tells you what to remember by helping you to rewire your brain, which is another terminology for neuroplasticity, via a new, stronger nerve connections. Sexual transmutation and orgasm can add up a bigger blast of natural dopamine and opioids available to your reward circuitry. Cool. Now this is gonna break it to the fullest. Although dopamine is sometimes referred as the pleasure surge or molecule, it is actually about seeking and searching for pleasure, not itself. Thus, dopamine rises anticipation. This is why people get all of this adrenaline, all of these things to rush in, and they just dive in. But it's not so. You're not supposed to do that. It is your motivation and drive, purpose, potential, pleasure, or long-term goals. It works in the synapse of nerve cells by attaching the receptors to stimulate electric impulses as pictured on the next page. Cool. And that can properly control his sex drive is a dangerous man because it means that he is focused and a disciplined man. What do they mean by that? Guys, you know the saying, you can't serve two masters because you're going to love one more than the other, right? You need to understand, dopamine is not an enemy. People don't understand. Dopamine is your friend, but it's how your brain is wired in terms of how it seeks the dopamine. Now, for instance, let's say someone like me, because I've rewired my brain through what's it called neuroplasticity, I can get dopamine from reading a book. But if someone else reads the book, there is no dopamine because in his brain, this is boring. So his brain doesn't receive any reward by him reading the book. Its punishment is a chore. Now, the thing is, for a lot of people in this civilization, because Babylon is so poisonous, has conditioned our brain in where we only see sex, masturbation, pleasure, all of that as a dopamine reward. So we don't see the purpose, our mission, our destiny, our hard work as of a benefit. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because you can't serve two masters. You have to serve one more than the other. Now, people who chase sex, what happens to them? Their life deteriorates. Number one, they lose minerals, all of that. The body starts to decay. What I mean by decay is that all of the essence they feel malnourished if they're really sex addicted because they need to replenish it. And due to GMO, all of the poisonous food, fast food, all of this, a lot of people are not really replenishing themselves, so they deteriorate. Now, someone who chases his purpose and avoids sex, he becomes dangerous, a dangerous man. Why? What makes him dangerous is because he has now rewired his brain in seeking dopamine through his purpose. So by him waking up early, by him chasing his dream, he now receives dopamine. The same way that he was prior getting dopamine through watching pornography and sleeping with so many women, he has now rewired his brain through neuroplasticity and now convinced himself that by him waking up in the morning, having a cold shower, doing all the things that normal people will consider a chore, he has now convinced himself that that is the right thing to do. What happens is that he would then achieve his destiny because he can't serve two masters because he has starved his distraction and fed his purpose. He would then, achieve his mission, and then later after he's achieved his mission and really fulfilled himself, he can now look to reproduce his gene because you're still going to get impulses, you're still going to get these cravings, you're still going to get all of these things even though when you're on your purpose. But because he's convinced himself that those doses of dopamine are not satisfactory, he can now live to avoid them. So it's so important for us to rewire our brain and come to the grips that short-term pleasure is not going to benefit you. Just that's why I played the clip in the beginning, is because a lot of men in our society sleep with women, produce an accident child with them because of they couldn't have patience or self-control. And this is why it's imperative for us to understand what we're dealing with in this game, because this is a mind game. If you can control your mind, you can control your outer reality. But it's your boy DBD checking out. Shalom.